Your mid-20s, early 30s, and you're working in a job that you thought would bring you happiness. If you're like me, you've been brought up to believe that getting a good education, going to college, graduating, getting your foot in the door as early as possible is key to being successful. Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited to be coming at you today with this video, and I think it's something so important. 2 years ago I graduated from university and I got my dream job, or what I thought at the time was my dream job. Finally had my foot in the door to start a career in marketing and video production. And as I went about my 9-to-5 lifestyle, I slowly started to fall out of love with this idea. We have to work as hard as we can, as early as we can, in order to be successful in our lives. And I started to get depressed. I started to hate waking up and going to work every day because it wasn't bringing me the happiness that I thought it would. So I did something drastic. I quit my job. I sold my stuff. I booked a one-way flight to Australia on a working holiday visa where I spent 1.5 years traveling, seeing new places, learning about the world. For the first time in my entire life, I was able to walk on my own path, and everything that I had been brought up to believe about getting a good education and getting that perfect start to my career was proved wrong. Now you've come to this video because you're clearly feeling the same way that I did 2 years ago, and you're contemplating giving it all up to go traveling. And you were wondering if it's a good idea. And I'm not here to mince my words with you guys. I'm here to give you my experience and to hopefully help you to make an informed decision on whether you should quit your job to travel. I'm sure if you're like me, the first thing that you want to know is if it is worth it. Is it worth sacrificing and compromising everything that you have worked for this far in your life just to go traveling, which you might not even enjoy and which might not bring you the same level of success that a 9-to-5 job in your chosen field would bring you? I feel like I'm a good person to talk about this subject because I did attend university. I do have the student loan debt. I did have that ideal start to my career that I thought that I wanted and that I thought would bring me so much happiness, and I gave it all up. And I'm glad that I did, because it's taught me that there's a whole world out there that can offer you so much more experience than by just staying in one job. And in this video we're going to go through all of my experiences, all the pros and cons associated with giving up your job that you fought so hard to get in order to just travel. Is it selfish to want that? Is it selfish to give up on something that you fought so hard for and that you worked your ass off for? Is it a waste of time to go traveling? Is it a waste of money? Is it a waste of valuable years of your life that you could be spending working your way up the career ladder? And does giving up your job to travel put you at a disadvantage to those around you? There's a lot to cover in this video, guys, and I really hope that if you enjoy it, you'll hit the thumbs up button. It really supports me, and I hope that if you like my content, you'll hit that subscribe button, because I want to grow this channel. I want to continue creating great content, and I would love to have you join me. This channel is called Gay Astray. Astray literally means living a life on the path less traveled. I'm not here to give you sound advice whether choosing a career is going to be smarter in the long term, because clearly I don't understand that myself. But what I can give you advice on is what's best for you and your own personal happiness and your own personal journey. I refer to myself as a late bloomer, okay? I'm 26 years old. I still don't fully know exactly where my life is headed. Everything out there points to the idea that if you don't have your life together by the time you hit 30, that you're at a disadvantage. But I refuse to believe that. I refuse to accept what society tells me is right for my life. Since I quit my job to come traveling, I feel like I've grown into a completely new person. And all through that experience, I've always questioned, was it worth it? My biggest fear is underachieving. But all the time that I was working in this full-time job that I fought so hard to get, that my life is worth more than sacrificing all of this time just to work for a minimum wage. I started to realize that I was instantly replaceable, but the time that I spent working there is not replaceable. I knew that I was going to quit my job a year before I ended up doing it, a long time before I ever booked my flights, but I knew that it was something that I had to do just for myself. I remember thinking that this was possibly the worst, stupidest decision that I could ever make. If and when I do return back to the UK, will it have all been worth it? Let me just ask you a question. What do you want out of life? Are you struggling to answer that question? Because I know I was 2 years ago. I didn't have the first idea what I wanted to achieve in the long run. I had no idea where I saw my career evolve into. And truthfully, even though I said I got my dream job, I had no idea, and I still don't, what my dream job even looks like. If you're like me and you can't answer that question, how do you ever expect to be able to answer that question by staying in a job, in a career that doesn't fulfill you? If you don't know what success in your own life looks like, then it's clear that you need to do something about it. See, I'm a very optimistic person. I really believe that you are going to get out of life what you put into it. So I took the risk and left my job, and I know for a fact that it isn't going to leave me at a disadvantage. There's a stigma that if you sacrifice or compromise those vital years of your mid-20s or early 30s just to travel, that you're wasting valuable time that you could be spending saving for a mortgage, getting a family, saving up for a house, investing your money, working your way up the career ladder. But what about the people out there who don't know what they want from life? How on earth are you supposed to achieve all of that without some experience of what makes you happy? For me, I saw travel as this escape from the rat race, and as a way to dive deeper into what makes me tick. And what I will tell you is, you can always make money back. Money is easy to make back, but you can never make back the time. According to Forbes magazine, millennials prioritize experiences over everything else in order to better understand the world around them. See, even Forbes magazine agrees. I've got friends who I studied at university with and who I worked with, and who are doing very, very well for themselves, getting those dream jobs, working their way up the career ladder, saving money. But some of those people often tell me that they wish they'd made the decision to travel, that they wish they didn't jump straight into a career. But I've yet to meet one person from the age of 25 to 35 who regrets coming traveling. I think that that's an important point. What do you hope to gain from traveling? What kind of skills and qualities can you build? Independence, financial planning, problem solving, versatility, resilience. These are all skills and qualities that come with travel. Those are skills that I value very much, and that I'm sure employers also will value. If you get the chance to work abroad, you're always going to be building new skills and qualities that you can work into your resume or CV. So you're definitely not wasting your time by traveling. You're building yourself, you're optimizing yourself. One of the questions that I always ask myself is, would I be happier if I made the decision to stay in that job? Or am I happier now that I've given all of that up and that I'm living in New Zealand and that I've seen so much of the world? It's impossible to answer that question because you can't compare experiences that you don't have. I can't know for sure what new experience I would have had I stayed working. But if I stayed working, I wouldn't understand how much I've learned and grown as a person as a result of travel. So it's really down to what you prioritize and what you feel is best for you. One thing is for sure, I'll always wonder what it would be like on the other side. Is the grass greener? Leaving my job and going traveling showed me that there is an outside perspective. I refuse to accept that that's how I'm going to live my life, and that's one of the reasons that I'm glad that I came traveling, because I'm not living in that system anymore. It's changed my mindset about how we work. It's changed my mindset about what's important to me. Like, I want to start my own business. I want to work for myself. Eventually, I would love to take this into a full-time career. Who knows? But all I know is that I wouldn't have that vision for my life had I stayed in that job. And making the decision to give up your job to travel doesn't have to be a permanent thing. I decided to quit everything, sell everything, and move to the other side of the world. But for you, you can ask about taking a year out of work, a sabbatical, and spend that year traveling. But chances are, if you've made it this far through the video, that you are considering doing that. Nobody really has the formula for what makes for a perfectly fulfilling, happy life. You have to figure out the formula for your life on your own, and the best way to do that is to learn about the world around you and your place in it. I'm going to ask you a question. In 5 years' time, where do you see yourself? Maybe it's starting a family, maybe it's making a certain amount of money, maybe it's having a house. And my question to you is, if you take 1 year, just 1 year to travel, is it really going to affect your long-term goals and vision in a negative way? For example, if you take two people, both people have graduated from university and are both ready to start their careers. Say one person decides to take a year and go traveling, and the other person goes straight into full-time work to build their way up the career ladder. Which of these two people ends up being more successful or happy than the other? Again, You can't know that. Nobody knows that. Because if we're going to get deep, what makes us happy and what our definition of success is really unique and individual to each person. But for the person who spends a year traveling, is the amount that they make when they go back to work going to be so hugely different from the person that spent a year working their way up the career ladder? No, it's not. It's not going to set you back that much. Do you see travel as one last stab at freedom before you have to accept the responsibilities of adulthood, or do you see it as a way for you to grow yourself and see who you can become when you push yourself out of your comfort zone? There is a reason so many people my age, 25 and over, are feeling so disillusioned with the system that we've been brought up to believe as the correct way to live our lives. There's a reason that so many of us want to chase this digital nomad lifestyle. Maybe it's because we're realizing that our self-worth is higher than the wage that you get paid for dedicating so much of your life to a job that you don't even enjoy. Maybe it's to do with our ego. Maybe it's telling us that we deserve better, we deserve more from life. I'll go back to this point of trading your time for money. Maybe these years of your life, the late 20s, early 30s, are worth more than just slaving away at a computer desk. These are the years that you have to play with. These are the years where you can go on these crazy adventures when you're still young and healthy, where you're not tied down by career obligations or families. Working abroad can vastly improve your skill sets and clarify your ambitions in your own life. You're worried about having to give up everything that you've worked so hard to get. The house that you're living in, all of the possessions that you've got, the car, the bike. But what you will realize in time is that stuff doesn't necessarily equate to happiness. Like when you wake up in the morning, are you feeling good? Or do you wake up thinking, I've got so much damn stuff going on in my mind, I've got so much clutter in my real life? Give it up. The less shit that you have weighing you down in your day-to-day life, less stuff is going to weigh you down in your mind. And when you realize that the stuff in your life isn't what makes you happy, then you've got time to chase the things that do. And that, my friends, is a valuable use of your time. All of this comes down to the concept of time versus experience. Time is something that we don't get back. Money is something that we do get back. There's enough money on this planet for all of us to be millionaires. So for example, your worst nightmare, you quit your job, you go traveling and you realize that you hate it. What happens then? Have you made the biggest mistake of your life? No. You've got so many tools at your disposal to get everything that you want, right? To squeeze everything that you want from life. And I think given the current circumstances, all around the world, people are being forced indoors, being forced to isolate themselves, and it's given people more time to think about, my life before all of this was so fast moving and everything was so fast paced and I was just living this loop. Now everyone's got time to really think about stuff, me included, which is why I'm making this video. I refuse to end up one of these people who gets a job at 18, retires at 65, having hated my job and being miserable going to work every day. Comparison is the death of joy. It's so easy for us to look at the people around us and see how well they're doing. Your life is better than my life, therefore I'm worth less than you. It's just not true. If you'd have asked me 2 years ago if I could have seen myself living in New Zealand, traveling the world, creating the content that I've always wanted to create, and having a voice, having something to say, I could have said that that isn't possible. It's like, there's never been a better time, you guys. There's never been a better time to take a risk in your life. What have you got to lose? Life is not a competition or a race with the people around you. The only person that you're in competition with is yourself, right? My hope for myself and for everyone that watches this video is that in 5 years you're gonna look back and say, I made the right choice. What's right for you inside? What's right for your fucking happiness? I know that that's really cringy and cheesy, but it's the whole reason that I went travel. It's the whole reason that we do anything. There's gonna come a point in your life where you're not gonna have this chance again. What if you're like me and you still don't know what you want to do or achieve with your life by the time you're 30? What if you're not retiring a millionaire by the age of 60? Does that mean that we're worth less than people who do? Does that mean that we're unable to make decisions that bring us happiness and bring us fulfillment? Is that selfish? I refuse to believe it. All of this stuff, all of this noise going on around you is a distraction. The great thing about travel in 2020 is how freaking accessible it is, how cheap it is. There are apps, there are websites that are going to help you stay in places for free. You don't have to spend a penny. Teach English abroad. Do something that's going to broaden your horizons, broaden your employability, improve your skills, optimize yourself. Don't waste the time working for a company or organization that could replace you like that when you won't get those years of your life back. I'm in the game of self-improvement. I am in this to become the best person, the best version of myself. That I have something more to offer the world, not just sitting behind a desk at a 9-to-5 job. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at GayAstray. I'm so close to 1,000 followers, I can almost smell it. And if you enjoy the video, subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 20,000 subscribers this year and I really would love your support. Thank you for watching. Have an absolutely fantastic day. Take care of yourself and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.